Itchy nose. Cool. Yay! I have my phone right here. With an itchy nose that I think is bleeding, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do, yeah, today we're going to do a reacting to Shane Dawson's, I guess, what is this called? Deaths on Live TV.
Now, we talked about deaths on roller coasters, we talked about deaths at carnivals, but one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen was death on TV. There's one video in particular that is so disturbing, I literally could not sleep. I'm not going to show you that one. I mean, I'll show you a little bit, but not the actual death. So that got me thinking.
Okay, well, his face cannot go in very well because my lighting is bad.
First accident that happened on TV that we're going to talk about is called the Challenger explosion. On January 28th of 1986, the space shuttle called the Challenger was sent off by NASA. Now, this was broadcasted on live TV, and people around the country and probably around the world were watching this happen. 73 seconds into the launch, the unspeakable happened, and the shuttle exploded.
Velocity 2,257 feet per second. Altitude 4.3 nautical miles. Downrange distance 3 nautical miles. 1 minute 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
The 7 people that were on board all died instantly, including one woman who was a teacher and would have been the first teacher in space. I remember my mom telling me about this when I was little, and she said that everybody in the room was watching it happen live, and when that thing exploded, everybody just shut down. I can't even imagine. It's so fucking sad. Now, our next death that happened on TV is really disturbing, so I'm just warning you. If you are sensitive to suicide or disturbing imagery, I would click off of this video. We're going to be talking about the suicide of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones was a 40-year-old maintenance worker at a hotel in Long Beach, California. One day he was driving extremely fast and the police tried to pull him over, but he didn't listen. He got into a high-speed chase with them and it was televised live on the news. So Daniel Jones was dying. He had cancer and he was HIV positive. He was frustrated with his HMO coverage. He couldn't get the health benefits that he needed. And he pretty much decided that his life was over. And that's where the story gets really disturbing. Every channel cut to live footage of this police chase, even channels that were showing children's after-school cartoons. So now you have everybody in America watching this, including kids who were watching cartoons. Daniel Jones got out of his car in the middle of the freeway with a shotgun. And that's when he took the gun, aimed it in his mouth, and then pulled the trigger. Obviously, I'm not going to show you that moment because it's extremely disturbing, but everybody that was watching the news saw it. It was probably one of the most disturbing things that's ever been on TV. And the fact that a bunch of kids saw it when they thought they were watching cartoons is like, can't even imagine. Now, because of this incident, the news is not allowed to do close-ups on live chases, and they also need to have a delay so that they can like turn it off before something bad happens. Either way, his suicide definitely needed that. Now, our next accident was pretty big, and the video is very scary. That is the accident at the Reno Air Show. So for those of you who don't know, air shows happen all around the country, and it's when planes will fly over the crowd, do tricks, race each other, but they're actually extremely dangerous, and there's been a lot of crashes at a lot of different air shows. And during these accidents, lots of people die, not just the pilot. If the plane goes into the crowd, there is no surviving that. Well, on September 16th of 2011 at the Reno Air Show, it was a really bad crash. Check it out. Because of that crash, the pilot died and 10 other people. 69 people were seriously injured. The airplane crashed so hard that it actually descended. That's how intense these crashes are. Now, our next death didn't just happen on live TV. It happened in front of a live studio audience. And that is the death of Tommy Cooper. So Tommy Cooper was a famous comedian and he did a lot of variety shows. Well, during one of his shows, something really bad happened. On April 15th of 1980, Tommy had a heart attack on stage in front of the audience. Now, people thought this was a joke because he's a comedian, so they started laughing and they thought it was part of the show. could see the show cut right to commercial because the producers did not know what to do. Now, they didn't want to freak out the studio audience, and they didn't want to scare the people at home, so they just moved on with the show, and they had other performers come out. And while they were doing that, they dragged Tony's body backstage and was trying to do CPR. The ambulance came, took him to the hospital, and he was dead on arrival. People didn't know about it until the next day, which means that the people that were watching that show just thought it was part of the show. But hey, on the bright side, at least he died doing what he loved. Now, this next death is very fascinating because it actually happened in 1912, and that is Franz Reichelt's death that happened on the Eiffel Tower. Now, Franz was an inventor, and he created a lot of awesome stuff. And the invention he was most excited about was a suit that you could wear, and it would turn into a parachute. Now, instead of just getting a crash dummy to try this out for him, he decided he wanted to try it out himself. So on Sunday, February 4th of 1912, he went to the Eiffel Tower because he wanted to jump off something extremely high. When asked why he was doing this, he said, "I want to try the experiment myself and without trickery, as I intend to prove the worth of my invention." So the news was there filming this, and unfortunately, it did not end well. Franz died right on impact. His right leg and his right arm were crushed, his skull and his spine were completely broken, and he was even bleeding from his mouth, nose, and ears. One witness even said that his eyes were still open and they were widened and looked like they were full of fear, which is like so incredibly disturbing. But you know what? Kudos to the guy. You know, he invented a lot of cool shit. He wanted to show that it worked, and unfortunately it didn't. But at least he thought he did something with his life. That's pretty awesome. Now, our next death is probably one of the most famous deaths that happened on TV, and that is the suicide of Bud Dwyer. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this clip. I remember it went viral a while ago. This is something that really bugged me up when I saw it. It's probably the most intense thing I've ever seen. So basically, Bud Dwyer was a politician, and he was found to be doing some pretty corrupt stuff. It all involved accounting and taxes and things that I don't understand. But basically, because he was found guilty, his political career was over. Well, during a press conference where he was going to talk about the charges, he pulled out a gun and shot himself in the head. Here's a clip from the press conference. Now, I'm going to cut it off right before he pulls the trigger, but just check it out. And what happened next was awful. Now, I'm not telling you to go Google it and check out that video, but if you are into twisted stuff and you like death and you're like me and you're kind of fucked up, it is probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen and something that I will never forget. Speaking of craziest things I've ever seen, this next death is definitely in my top 10, and that is the 2010 school board shootings. So on December 14th of 2010, there was a school board meeting in Panama City, Florida. During that meeting, a man named Clay Allen Duke stood up and said, "I have a motion." He then took out a can of red spray paint and spray painted a big V inside of the circle, which is from the movie V for Vendetta, and then he took out a gun and aimed it at the board members. While he pointed the gun at them, the superintendent stepped up and said, "Hey, listen, I'm the one in control. I'm the one who signed the papers. Can you please let all of these people go?" And Duke was not having it. And then that's when things got really scary.
I don't want anybody to listen. Just listen to me for a minute. I don't want anybody to get hurt, and I've got a feeling that what you want is the cops to come in and kill you because you're mad because you said you're going to die today. But why? This isn't worth it. This is a problem. Please don't. Please don't. Please. I'm going to kill you. Don't you understand?
So luckily Duke missed. He didn't hit anybody, but he did end up killing himself as the cops ran in. So supposedly Duke was really upset because his wife who worked at the school board was fired, and he thought it was bullshit. He also felt like the taxes were too high for somebody like him that wasn't making that much money. He just wanted to prove that his voice was being heard. But luckily all the people on the board made it out alive. Thank God. Well, there you guys go. Those are some of the most disturbing deaths that have happened on the board. And once again, I always say this, but no disrespect meant to the families and any of the victims. I'm just interested in this dark, twisted stuff, and I know a lot of you guys are too, so no disrespect meant. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go. If you want more videos like this, where I talk about creepy and scary stuff, be sure to give me a thumbs up so I know, and also subscribe right down below to my channel, because I make new videos.
Go to subscribe him.
The playlist right in the description. Alright, you guys, out. And remember, stay safe.
Well, goodbye, guys. I'll see you later.